Hi, I'm John from Aurora Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to host N8N for free with a Google Cloud virtual machine. So this might sound a little complex, but it's actually not hard if you follow the instructions in the guide we have that I'll link in the comments here, and just follow along with this video. It shouldn't take very long at all. So first, I just want to cover why we might use Google Cloud for free. So one of the standard ways to host N8N is to go through N8N itself and use their cloud service. However, if you're using the starter plan, it's already €24 a month, and you're limited to 2,500 workflow executions and 5 active workflows, which really won't go far. Now, 2,500 workflow executions monthly is not bad, but 5 active workflows is quite limiting, especially if you're going to compartmentalize your automations, which is a smart thing to do. Then you can easily get over 5. Another way to do it, which I do recommend, is Hostinger. So if you use this plan, which is recommended, the KVM2, you can actually get 2 years for 170 USD about, which is a really great deal. And this will give you quite a powerful VM, a lot more powerful than the Google Cloud setup. So that will help with things like running a lot of automations at a time, although I've never had problems with Google Cloud. The big thing it will really help with is doing updates. Another option is to use Render, but to use Render for free comes with a lot of limitations. So about every 15 minutes after not interacting or none of your automations running, the instance will spin down and you can lose a lot of your data. And then obviously your automations won't run if the instance spins down. So I would not recommend this for free. Now you could host it for cost, but it's a lot more expensive than something like Hostinger. So lastly, we get to Google Cloud. So what we can take advantage of here is the free first E2 micro instance. We're going to use the US Iowa region, but we can use any of these regions. I'm just using that because it's closest to us, and we can have under a 30 gigabyte per month standard persistent disk for free. The only thing that we might be charged for is certain data transfer if we go over, but it will be a very, very low cost. And then also, once you set up your Google Cloud, you'll get over 300 USD in credits for 90 days. So that will cover this for the beginning 3 months. And then after that, you'll either be charged a very, very tiny amount or nothing, depending on where you are and how you use the service. So we'll get started here. First, we're going to navigate to Google Cloud. If you haven't set up your account, you will, and you might be asked to set up a project, or you can use the default project that gets set up. What we'll do is we'll go to Compute Engine on the left, and then we'll open up VM instances. That's where I am now. We'll go to create an instance. We can name this whatever we want, but I'm going to call it N8N. We'll leave it in Iowa, as we mentioned. We'll scroll down. E2 is the correct instance. However, it's saying medium. We're going to go for micro. Now you can ignore this number up here because this does not take into account what Google credits you for free. This is as if you didn't have any credits in your account and you weren't using your free first E2 micro instance. So you can ignore this price. Next, we'll go to OS and storage. So we'll just ensure it's on Linux 12. Perfect. Then what we'll do is we'll give it a standard persistent disk, and we can add the 30 gigabytes here. Then we can move to networking, and we're going to allow HTTPS traffic and the load balancer health checks. Once we've done this, so just to recap, we've set US Central Iowa, we've got our name, we got the E2 micro instance, it says this up here, we've got the 30 gigabyte standard persistent disk of storage, and we're on WGNU Linux 12, and then we have our HTTPS and a load balancer on. We can click create. Now this will take a couple minutes, but you can wait and go get a coffee. Now what we want to do is point this to our own domain, so it's hosted under our domain. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this external IP, we're going to go to our DNS records of whatever we're hosting. We're going to add a new record. We're going to use an A record. We're going to do the host as N8N, because I'm going to use that as my subdomain, and then we're going to add the IP address in here. We can then save those changes. Next, we're going to go back to the VM instances, and we have to SSH into our VM. So this is essentially connecting to the computer, and then we can type in some codes to tell it what to do. We'll have to authorize with our account details. Now that we have the VM open and I've moved all my tabs in a way you can easily see, we're going to copy in a couple things. The first one is actually optional. It's just ensuring that there's nothing already existing on here related to Docker. We're going to make sure everything is up to date. Perfect. Then we're going to install a couple packages. Can do these multiple at a time, but I'm just doing them one at a time because the VM is fairly small and that can sometimes lag it. Great, now that's done, we're going to create the Docker Compose YAML file. This is going to have our Traefik service and our N8N service. What we're going to have to do here is we're going to copy and paste the following configuration into this file. Great, after we pasted this in, we can press escape and then type :wq, save and quit. Next, what we're going to have to do is create an environment file. This is where we're going to define our domain name, time zone, and SSL email. We'll copy and paste this in and edit it accordingly. So I'm going to do my domain. If you pasted this in and you want to edit, you can click I, and then you'll get into the editor mode. The subdomain is actually N8N already, that's correct, America, Toronto, and then I'm going to put my email in here. Then I'm going to press escape. Then I'm going to type :wq and hit enter to save those files. Lastly, what we're going to want to do is create some Docker volumes for N8N and Traefik. And then we'll want to spin up our Docker instance. This process might take 5 to 10 minutes, but once it's done, you can open up a new tab and navigate to the domain you set. Once you do this, you'll actually be prompted with a sign-up screen where you can enter your information, set your password. I've just cut that out. And then you'll actually get this pop-up that says send me an activation key. This will be sent to your email. You go to settings and then enter the activation key here, and you'll get access to all the features in the community edition. One other tip for N8N that I like is using this service called OpenRudder. So instead of going and getting an OpenAI LLM key, a Gemini, API key, you can just go all through this service and it's about the same price. And then you can quickly swap between models. So thank you so much for watching. If you are going to use N8N and you want help setting it up, building workflows, or even just assessing what automation opportunities are available in your organization, come to aurora-designs.ca and then you can book a free discovery call and we can talk through your business, what you might want to automate and how we can help you modernize and optimize. Thank you so much. Have a great day.